we think about that, we can go back to a story that many of you have heard, but many of you have not heard, so I'm going to tell it today. But we were at a church many years ago over on Lynchburg Road. It was on a little curved, little bitty church, and we had a booming youth group going. We had a group, singing group called One Way Street, and my sister sang in it, and April Livingston sang in it, and that's really all I can remember. It's been a long time ago. But they had a good little group, and I got to run the lights. I was the light man, and I had a big old boom light, this big. You know, pastor's always been into lights. It was this big around. It had different colored lenses, and I got to pull them down and change colors, whatever color I wanted to choose, you know, and that has nothing to do with the story. I just thought it was cool when I was like 12. So anyway, so we had this guy in our youth group named David, and so David began to come and hang out with us. Well, he was in our youth group, and this was during the Laughing Revival. I don't know how many of you remember that, but people used to just laugh, and it was fun, and you laughed, and the Spirit just made you laugh. And so we was laughing, and I think one service, maybe David was slain in the Spirit, and God was moving, and we didn't know this guy named Bruce that was peeking in the window of the church, and he sees his son laid out in the Spirit. Well, he immediately thinks these people are a cult. So he goes and actually turns us in to the Winchester Police Department. Well, while all this is going on, we moved to the building we just left from. We moved churches. Well, Bruce, he begins to show up to work. He was an electrician and a plumber, and so he began to show up a little bit more and more and just help around, and he would tell you he was a known atheist. He said, I don't believe in God. And so Pastor, Bruce liked to argue, and Bruce liked to debate, and Bruce knew the Bible. What was weird, you would think an atheist wouldn't care anything about the Bible, but he knew the Bible. So Pastor said, here's one rule you're to do when you're talking to Bruce. He said, you do not argue with him. You only love him. And he said, if he asks you something you don't know, you just say you don't know. But the main thing is we're going to love him. And so we loved Bruce, even though at times Bruce was hard to love. Bruce was just an old grouchy man, but really once you cracked Bruce's shell, you figured out he wasn't grouchy at all. He was just an old sweet. He was just sweet. He was a big old sweet guy is what he was. Yes, a big teddy bear.